Now we actually have sound. Yeah, now we have sound. So all that stuff we said before, useless. Now we actually have sound. Yeah, now we have sound. So all that stuff we said before, useless.
Nice to know you think time with me is.
Yeah, now we have sound. So all that stuff we said before.
There we go. Now it's gone.
I'm gonna go check the TV.
I mean.
Yeah. No, never mind.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Hey, I'm Traven of Traven's Tomes. We already did a whole bit, but
we've been talking for 20 minutes.
And then realized the audio wasn't working. Yay!
Go check what you need to check.
Yeah, I'm gonna go make sure the TV's muted.
He's Traven from Traven's Tomes. I'm Amanda from Amanda Should Be Reading. We do booktube content. We also do productivity and reading sprints, which is what we're doing today. We're doing a reading sprint. And sometimes we forget to turn the audio on our live streams, you know. It happens. So thank you for joining us. It's summer, so our schedules are weird. Although this is our rather normal time to be streaming, we won't be streaming at this time for the next 2 weeks at least. We won't be streaming on Saturday, but we will be streaming in this coming week, which I will let Traven talk about the upcoming streams that he is going to do.
Yes, so because we're going to be taking a couple weeks break for the weekend
due to traveling,
I did put in the schedule down here that we have Slay the Princess on Monday, and then we'll do reading sprints on Wednesday. Both of those are going to be at 10 o'clock.
Central Time.
It's also on there, Central Time. So that way, if you are used to coming and watching us at 10 o'clock on Saturdays or midnight on Saturdays, which is what we do most of the time, that VOD will be available and you can watch the reading sprints that way.
You can just pretend that we didn't stream on Wednesday and are there on Saturday.
Yeah. So... Did you talk about your stuff as well?
I just said who we were.
Nice. So I did say on the short that I posted today that I talked about Magic the Gathering. So I went to a Magic the Gathering tournament. It was actually two pre-releases. One was at 7, one was at midnight. So what ended up happening was I played from 7 o'clock on Friday night to 5:30 this morning, and then I had to drive about 40 minutes to get home.
Although I'm sure there wasn't much traffic.
There was hardly any traffic, but I was also very, very tired.
I was a little concerned about you.
Yeah.
Although also unconscious.
So we were part of the largest pre-release tournament that store had ever hosted. There were 123 players.
That's crazy.
So they had, I think, how much? It was like 60 something tables they had to set up.
Yeah.
So all their regular tables plus all their like standing tables that the Warhammer players and the miniature players play on that have like have the wells and everything. All of those also have little things on them, little numbers. And he was like, "Hey, like this is not like a small tournament, so don't be don't be shouting the other person's name. Just go to the table, check that it's the person that you're supposed to be up against, and then play.
You're not going to find them across the room.
Don't. Yeah, he's like, don't be shouting. We're all going to be shouting, and no one's going to hear anything.
Yeah.
So that one cleared out like it was 4 rounds, but it ended up being
started late.
It started late, so it ended up being 3 rounds, and they gave everybody a win on round 4. But it died quickly. Like by the end of round 2, we had lost at least 30 people
who had just lost and just out.
Yeah, they probably lost a game or they lost or 2, and then they were just like, I'm just going to take off. And so
which means like 30 people have nothing to do because their opponent's gone.
Yeah, well they can usually, as long as they drop before the matchmaking happens.
Oh, you can reassign.
You can reassess.
Okay, that's good.
But there were people that had buys. There were people that just were sitting around for the second,
like
third
you.
round. Yeah. I got a bye on the third round. Yeah, and I was just chilling. And then we also broke their sales record for the day by a lot, since they had opened that location. They said we broke the sales record, and it was by at least $10,000.
Jeez.
Yeah. The midnight release was more of what I expect from...
You said it was about 30 people?
Yeah, like 36, I want to say, which is a much more...
manageable,
reasonable, and like expected number of people. And then they were doing what was called an Iron Man tournament, which I didn't know what that meant.
You could have called them.
When I went and signed up for it. I'd already called them once to ask if there were spots, and I saw the $120 price tag, and was like, no thank you. But what the Iron Man tournament was they had the 7 o'clock and the midnight, which are the two I signed up for. They had a 5 a.m. and they had a 10 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
And if you signed up for the Iron Man, you were agreeing to play in all four of those back to back. So you would be in the store, I think, for like 22 hours, something like that. But basically with that, you were getting one of those paid for, like one of those already.
Yeah, you were paying for like 2.5 to get 4.
Yeah, you're paying for 2.5 to get 4 tournaments. And someone was asking like, oh, if we drop, do we still get the pre-release kits? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
The expectation that you signed up for this is, if you don't show up for the other tournaments, you're not getting your stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I had a lot of fun. I looked for chocobos.
For me, because I love chocobos. I've been playing with my little burb.
Mm-hmm.
He's my little chocobo. I think he's from Final Fantasy. This might be the one from 12.
Okay.
Because that was what was coming out in Japan when I bought him.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be modeled after the little tiny one from 12. He used to make noise, but his batteries are dead. But he's just my little guy. He's my little phone chocobo. I love chocobos.
Yeah.
So Traven was the bird guy.
Yeah, they were calling me the bird guy, because I was just asking everybody like, hey, do you have any chocobos that you pulled that you don't want?
You'll trade me.
Yeah. I didn't get the wandering chocobo, which is kind of expensive. It would have been nice to have traded for that. And I didn't get the one that I want to use to build your commander deck, which is Choco.
Well, you could go back till I'm sure they have other magic events there.
Yeah, I was thinking if I could throw together like a workable Tifa commander deck, maybe I would go back and try playing on their commander night. I think that's Tuesday nights.
And summer's the perfect time to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And also while I was there, I was reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 2, which is Carl's Doomsday scenario. So if you've not heard about Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's actually a really good time to be reading it, because Murphy Napier, who has a much more successful booktube channel, is also currently reading through this and giving her thoughts on it. This is a lit RPG comedy series. So lit RPG means that in this world, RPG elements are real, and
stat increases,
and people are aware of them, and they have
leveling up.
You have leveling up. You've got powers. You've got items. You've got crafting, and it's very technical with all of it. So like whenever he gets a new achievement, it has the snarky written achievement, because it's all the premise here is that this dungeon has been created by aliens that basically enslave the world for resources. It's kind of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy-esque, where they just kind of like destroy us because we're inconvenient. But then there's like a rule that you have to give the people on the planet like an opportunity to do something. I'm a little hazy about what the actual like reward for getting through it is. And they've mentioned several times that no one has ever done it.
Oh, okay.
And so
there might not actually be a prize.
Yeah. And there's, I want to say 17 levels or 15 levels, which means there's going to be at least that many books.
I was going to say, is each book one level?
Book 1 went through levels 1 and 2. But this is all level 3, and then from there I think it's 1-to-1. So We shall see. But
in like book 8, he gets sent back to level 1.
And apparently later on...
I don't know that, by the way. I'm just like shooting...
Yeah. And apparently at some point, the levels are going to become themed. I'm kind of hoping for a card game themed one, because I think that would be funny, and I think that would be something that someone who writes this kind of book would do. But I was able to get through about maybe 50 pages while I was at the tournament. And so I'm over halfway, and I'm hoping to make a dent in this. And then if I finish, or if I just am kind of burnt out on it, I also do have Transformers Volume 3 Combiner Chaos. This is the Energon universe that's being distributed by... I'm trying to remember the name. Skybound? I want to say Skywarp, but that is a character from Transformers.
Is it Skybound?
It is Skybound.
But it's Image.
Is
Skybound, Image Skybound?
Image... So it's Skybound in the UK.
Okay.
And then Image here. But I believe Skybound creates it. And then Image is just their distributor this side. So there's like, it's I don't know. But it's a lot of fun. It's Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, it's Skybound.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say Skybound, though.
It does not.
So that's not a help. Like, you're like, yeah, it's Skybound. Here's a...
That's the
image.
Logo.
Oh, Scorpio's here.
Hey, Scorpio.
Going to read Batman Under the Red Hood and Miss Marvel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Scorpio, you missed where we were talking for 20 minutes and had our audio muted, so that was fun.
You didn't miss much. So.
you missed us stating each other doing like...
So what are you going to be reading tonight?
I am hoping to finish book 1 of Stars of Chaos. I have been reading this for entirely too long. Although I will say, the last 2 chapters of this book have finally started popping off. Like, I was telling you this earlier, but this is a Danmei novel, which are Chinese male romances. This is the slowest of slow burns, because in this book we start pretty, as far as I can tell, really early before any romance is going to happen. One of the characters doesn't see the other romantically at all, and the other one just kind of has a slight crush. But they also have kind of like a guardian protector role at the moment. So they have a relationship that they're building. Yeah. It's just not in any way romantic. Yeah. And the first, I want to say, 300 pages of this book were very much introducing the world, introducing the characters, introducing the relationships, explaining how the steampunky elements work, explaining a lot of political machinations, because you needed to understand that, explaining who the major players are in the political court, showing how at least one of our characters is growing and changing, introducing the things that our other characters is hiding from everybody, and his role in the society. And I think it could have been done in at least a third of the time. Like, they could have cut out at least 100 pages somehow. Other parts I think could have been integrated better. It could have been cut down a bit. I don't know how. I'd have to like really look at it to see like what could be cut out or what could be...
No, but I definitely, I mean, I get those same feelings when I'm reading the Brandon Sanderson huge epic Stormlight Archive books. It's like, this does not need to be 1,400 pages.
And I just don't know that it needed to start where we started.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if it could have started with them already in the capital, and we could have just flashed back to some of the things, to the very pertinent stuff we needed to know, instead of having to see it beat by beat. I don't know. But now I finally feel like we're getting into the story that they wanted to tell. The characters are interesting. They're making choices based on things we know about them. It's really interesting now in the last 100 pages. But this is a series, so I really like the last 2 chapters. And like I said, you couldn't just start there. Because you do have to know a lot about the political, how the world works and how things are set up. And then you had to remove certain elements in order to make this part work. But this last couple chapters have been really good.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in what's going on now, so I'm hoping to finish up pretty quick. I peeked at the synopsis of book 2 because I was struggling to get through this one. And so I'm pretty sure that this book is going to end with our main 2 characters being separated. I don't know if there's a fight or if they're at very different places, like, socially. So, like, one of them is a military general, and they've already been separated for, like, over a year in the middle of this book.
Yeah.
So
I will say that I feel like that is one of the weaknesses of Dungeon Crawler Carl, at least as far as I've read. And granted, I've only read one book, but that one kind of ended with, like, you know, it's all about levels. So like he finishes up a level and then it's kind of done. And so I didn't feel like there was much of a climax. Like, yes, he did fight a big boss thing at the end, but there weren't any payoffs for any of these.
There was no resolution to anything.
Yeah, it didn't feel like anything really got to a conclusion. It was just more like all set up. And then we're just going to continue a lot of that here. And a lot of the things that we set up in book 1, we've not even touched on in this one.
And for this, it feels like I got like 300 pages of backstory. I'm going to get 100 pages of an incident and a problem they have to solve. I'm hoping they resolve it. It seems like they have to at least semi-resolve it. And then, like, I feel like everything in here is going to be important. It's just a very slow burn, which I was not quite expecting it to be as slow as it has been. But like I said, the last 2 chapters I've really, really liked.
Scorpio is saying they can't do slow burns. They would have given up on page 50.
Oh god, I love slow burns when I know I'm getting into a slow burn. But like this isn't. I like slow burns when they're like mutual pining and like, or like you know things are going on and like you can see where it is. Like with a romance, I like a slow burn where they're both interested, but like it's just not developing for whatever reason. This one, it's just like, yep, here's 2 people. And the only reason I know they're going to be romantically linked is because this is a Donmei novel. And that's literally the genre. Yeah. If you just picked up this book off the shelf and didn't know that, like, the genre of Donmei, you would have no idea these 2 characters were eventually going to be together romantically.
All right. Well, since you've got very little to go, why don't we go ahead and get started? And then
I have a whole mess of books of if I finish this one, but I haven't really committed, so I'm not going to talk about 6 different books.
Okay. Yeah, we can figure that out. So I've got some like bookkeeping things to do real quick, and then I'm going to get started. But I'll go ahead and get us started on the sprints, and I'll get our timer up, and so we'll be back in 45 minutes.
Enjoy Under the Red Hood. Jason. Okay.
And we're back, yeah, with audio this time. Haha. So how did your book go?
I read 2 chapters.
Okay.
I only read about 20 pages, but I had to go back and find something because I was pretty sure I knew what was going on, but I needed to know how long it took for medicine to take effect.
Mm-hmm.
One of these characters medicine, and they went through in very detailed description way early in the book about the effects that this medicine has and how long it takes to kick in and what happens. And I was like, I'm pretty sure, because I think that's the first time I'd been introduced to incense time, that it took about the time it took to burn a stick of incense, which at the time when I read it, I was like, but how long that be? Mm-hmm. And in the back it explains that that's about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Which I did not know at the time because I didn't know there was a note about it and I was just confused. And then I went and found it in the glossary later and was like, okay, now I know some things. Right. And so they had mentioned that after about time to burn a stick of incense, this thing happened, and I'm like, it's been a while since we've talked about sticks of incense as time. That, in the book. Uh-huh. I was like, that seems like an oddly specific detail.
Yeah. Okay.
And, like, he seemed to, like, hear after that, and I was like, wait, it's been a stick of incense amount of time, and he can hear now? I know what happened.
Okay.
So but I wanted to check and see that it was that amount of time. They haven't explained what happened yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay.
We are unfortunately in a, like, resolution of a gambit where we were not told what was going on. Mm. We are seeing parts of the plan happen as, like, there's someone freeing some prisoners and being like, oh, we need your help with something, but we haven't been told what they're supposed to do. We saw 2 other people doing something else.
Yeah. So mine's kind of meandering as I was saying.
You were laughing a lot.
It was very funny. Very violent. Explicit, quite terrifyingly violent, but really also kind of funny. But also there was a part early on in this book where they got random hobbies, and it was like all human hobbies ever. And they use like really technical or obscure names for them.
Yeah.
And so I had to look them up, and they just came up as things that are relevant to the plot now.
As I told you they would.
I mean, I'm sure, yeah. Like, I didn't expect it to happen necessarily in this book, because again, that's kind of the flavor I'm getting from this, is it's just going to keep going and not really worry too much about where a book stops.
I wonder if this is a web, because that was originally published as like a web novel, right?
I think so.
And so was this, I believe. I believe most Danmei novels, because of Chinese censorship laws, most of them are initially published as web novels, because it's safer for the authors to do it anonymously on the internet. Especially if there's explicit stuff that is not allowed under Chinese law.
Oh, gotta do the thing.
What thing?
The
timer?
Thing. Yeah, the timer thing.
So yeah, I wonder if that's just a problem of this kind of, and like I said, that could be partially why things feel like fan fiction. Is because it is published on the web. And I'm sure when they picked up Dungeon Crawler Carl, they didn't want to change it much.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it went through very little editing.
Well, and it's another one of those that is a thing that I think was self-published, because there's a different version.
Yeah, you have
for
book
the first book. And they started releasing them with these hardcovers, these nicer hardcovers. And I feel like this is a similar thing that happened with, like, Legends and Lattes. The very first one was self-published, and then it became impossible to find for a while. And they started putting out a different
when it was in the
edition.
Gap. When it was in the Gap.
Yeah. And this is also very much in line so far with the other Matt Dinneman book I read, which was Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. That's kind of like the darker, more, had a lot more gross out humor. There's still gross out humor in here, but there's a lot more uncomfortable things happening in there, and a lot more disgusting things happening.
Yeah, well, because it was all about kaiju body parts, right?
Yeah. And that's just a one and done, so.
Oh, really wasn't? That one's not a series?
No, but it's like
It was
600
long.
pages, yeah.
What did Scorpio say?
Scorpio says...
Is that new or old? I can't tell.
Finished Miss Marvel, rating it a 4. Gonna start Batman Under the Red Hood.
Nice.
The next sprint. But first coffee. Scorpio, I'm interested in knowing which of the many Miss Marvels you're reading.
How many? You have a lot of Miss Marvel.
So far Miss Marvel has had 3 separate mainline runs.
Right.
And one of the things that we talk about often is how the word volume in the comic book scene is really, it's used for too many things. So like generally when you say a single like floppy
It's issue.
monthly, you say
It's an
issue. But when something's collected into trade paperback, a lot of people will say volume. And it will even be like on here, this says volume 3. But then the industry also uses volume for how many times has this...
Is this like the season series problem with like the UK uses the term series, when we use season, and like they use season for something different?
Yeah.
Is that a similar thing?
Well, I just think it's an industry thing where they use it for how many times it's been restarted.
Rebranded as a number 1.
Yeah, rebranded as a number 1. But we also use it for the books.
For the individual trades, yeah.
So, so far there was like the original run, there was a more like I guess cosmic focus. Like the second run did a lot more with like going into space and doing a lot more like crossover stuff, and the recent run I think it might have only lasted 2 volumes.
Oh, and you have one of them, so
I think the second one's out, but that one is written
partially by Iman Vellani, right?
Yeah, who is the actress who portrays Miss Marvel in the MCU. So
let us know who's writing your Miss Marvel, Scorpio. That would probably help. Or if it has a subtitle.
Or if it has a subtitle, yeah. I think...
Because Traven really likes Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I think the very first one was either New Normal or No Normal. There's one that's one of those things, and then a later volume is the other. But yeah, I think the first one is the strongest. It's very clear that Iman Vellani is a big fan of Miss Marvel, and she is trying her best to...
Well, she had a co-writer. She had a co-writer too, right?
Yeah. And she's trying her best to bring in, like... Fun and, like, story beats and, like, continue narratives that were established before. But she's also doing it under an immense amount of corporate...
Editorial oversight,
because they are... For a number of years, Marvel was pushing the Inhumans because they didn't have the film rights to the X-Men. And the Inhumans are... I know I'm going to get hate for this somewhere, but the Inhumans are essentially... X-Men. They're characters with powers. The way they get them are different.
I mean, if you look at it from a very, like, corporate standpoint, yeah. Inhumans are rebranded mutants.
Yeah.
Like, of course, within the story, they're very different and have their own flavor. But I do think they started largely as Marvel wanting another group that was very similar to the mutants. That weren't mutants.
But now that Marvel has the film rights back for X-Men, they're
pushing X-Men
again, and so because Miss Marvel was the most popular Inhuman, like new Inhuman thing that they created, the TV series did horribly.
Did it do that bad?
Oh yeah, the Inhumans TV series.
Oh no, the Inhumans one did bad.
I'm talking about the Inhumans TV series was awful.
Yeah. We haven't watched it, but I heard nothing but bad things.
The comics I don't think ever took off, but Miss Marvel became very popular, and so because she's like their flagship Inhuman, and now they've got X-Men, they've now made her a mutant, and she
as well. She's both.
And as far as I'm aware,
is she a child of destiny?
I don't know.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose, and not to any degree that super matters. It also, I'm gonna fall in such a rabbit hole talking about this. We're not gonna get yet. It also is frustrating because like her being a mutant does not add any value.
Because she's a mutant without mutant powers, right?
So she's a mutant
without developed mutant powers.
Yeah, without
within the story, she has no mutent powers right now.
Yes,
because her inhumanness have suppressed.
Yes.
So she's a mutant in name only.
Yes. There is, I think, I can't remember if it was still speculation or if there was something in the comic that suggested that the mutant powers are essentially going to be the powers she had in the TV series. Because if you don't know, in the TV series and the movie, the MCU,
it's like light manipulation.
Yeah, she can make like constructs. Essentially. And so she's able to do most of the stuff she can do. She can do most of the stuff she does in the comic anyway, but her actual powers are
embiggening
and shapeshifting.
Yeah.
Which we brought up like twice. To do also horrible things to her in the comics. But the point I was going to make is like her being a mutant is already like so much of her comic already dealt with being ostracized for her religion and all of her difficulties with being an Inhuman. I think, again, Iman Vellani did her best, and the co-author did their best to kind of illustrate that being an X-Men specifically at this time because right now the X-Men are like super hated, is like
nothing new.
No, it was presented as something worse because it is so widespread at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And it is so intense and vehement.
Okay.
But I don't feel like it's really. I feel like it's just retreading.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's see. Yeah. So. Yeah. Like I said, I think Iman Vellani is doing her best with what they're giving her on the corporate level, because they're saying like she has to be a mutant and an Inhuman, and like she's trying to incorporate that. And I liked what I had read so far, but like I said, I don't see anything on the shelves anymore.
Yeah.
I saw that the second volume's out. I don't see anything for volume 3. So I think it's going to be the shortest lived one as well.
Because yeah, the first one was like 10 volumes.
Yes.
The second one was 3. I only know this because we just redid our comic shelf this week.
It's 3 or 4, and then there's some like there's some like offshoot
in between stuff,
like one-off comics. Well, there's one that's more built for young readers.
Yeah.
And then there's like a one shot. There's like a team up one where she like every volume she teams up with a different character.
Mm-hmm.
So she teams up with Venom in one, and is the Punisher one of them?
Oh God.
I can't remember who all the team ups were, but it was like a one shot like
a miniseries.
Comic, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have all of them. I don't read her.
You have most of them.
I have all the ones. Sure? I have all the ones I just named.
Yeah. Are you sure you have all of them? I don't believe you.
I don't collect any. I have not collected any of the things where she is within another group, because I think there was a Champion series. I think she was on
Spider-Man.
She was on Avengers. That was Champions.
Okay.
Like her, Spider-Man, Vision's daughter.
Okay. I don't remember. V
and like Nova. Those are they're all together in a group.
I need to get the rest of the Nightwings in hardcover, because I have the first 4 in hardcover, and I keep looking for them at the store, and it seems like while they carried the hardcover in store for the first 4, because that's where I found them, the stores just suddenly gave up on carrying the hardcover, and I've only ever seen the later volumes in paperback. So in order to get them to match, I'm going to have to go either order them through Barnes & Noble, I assume, or go to Amazon. So...
Another thing I was really enjoying
and I need to get them before they become impossible to find. Yeah.
Another thing I was enjoying about the Miss Marvel run was a lot of the covers had variants by Peach Momoko.
Ah.
So
is this where the Peach Momoko fascination started?
I don't think so. Like, I've been aware of her for a while, and I really what really started me on this current like kick of picking up Peach Momoko stuff was getting Demon Wars and Demon Days. The alternate universe Marvel that is like Japanese lore, as like the Avenger characters are. Yeah, it's very fun. So, yeah.
So, you know a lot about Miss Marvel.
I've read a lot of it.
It's so weird that they've restarted that 3 times in what feels like a really short amount of time.
Yeah, but
and those were all industry-wide resets, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe both the resets you have were industry-wide. We're going to start things over at number 1.
And she's a popular character, but not to the same degree as some of the others, especially with the MCU. Before the movies, characters like Iron Man and Doctor Strange were not popular characters.
Yeah.
They were not selling books. A lot of it was Captain America on the Marvel side. The Avengers, like, as a whole, I think their comic was doing well. So, like, it's hard to gauge because she is a very popular... I feel like she's a very popular character when she premiered with the younger audiences, with those that wanted more representation, and... who appreciated what they were trying to accomplish with her character. But that could still be a very small subset of the overall comic book community.
Comics is so hard too because I feel like especially like I see with the Batman fandom, which I'm pretty big in the fandom scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hang out in a lot of fan fiction spaces with a lot of fans.
Right.
A lot of them have never read a comic.
Okay.
They're huge fans. A lot of them will watch a movie because watching a movie takes an hour, 2 hours max.
Right.
A lot of them know about the comics because they've read stuff about the comics online.
Right.
Or they've read maybe scenes from the comic in scans online from people who posted them on Tumblr. Mm-hmm. But most of them have never, I won't say most, a lot of them have never read a comic.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are not interested in reading current comics.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing with getting into a fandom is it's a lot of, like, you get into an echo chamber.
But I think it's really hard because, like, you have, like, Jason Todd is an incredibly popular character. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that his current, or I don't think it's out anymore, his most recent miniseries, I don't know how well it's sold.
Yeah.
But I would say Jason Todd is a very popular character, but the sales numbers are never going to reflect that perfectly.
Yeah. And again, like, popular in your fandom, which is already like a small subset of a small subset, right? So, like, I know Miss Marvel is considered popular among certain groups, but again, that's like a small fraction of.
But isn't that the only fraction Marvel and DC need to be worried about? Are, like, comic book fans?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they don't really need to be worried about what non-comic book fans would buy.
Yeah. And I also watched a thing recently that was talking about how it's still the case that the individual issue sales are what drives the decision on whether or not to continue a series.
Which is so frustrating because I feel like I don't want to buy floppies. Mm-hmm. They are hard to store. They are hard to read. I much prefer to get this that can go on a bookshelf that usually tells at least somewhat of an arc.
And like I said, like we've talked about before, they're writing them for this.
For trade. So why would you want to read it month to month, be stuck in the middle of a delay, have to wait for the next issue for 3 months because they get behind, when if I get this, at least I know I'm getting like 6 months worth of story.
Yeah. And I did feel like I was collecting Ultimate X-Men. I'm still collecting Ultimate X-Men month to month because, again, Peach Momoko, and love those covers. But it read a lot better in trade because I wasn't having to wait a month and, like, forget everything that was going on plot-wise. Where are we in the story? I remember the characters because that's something that sticks with you a bit more. But, like, I just don't get why they're still looking at individual issue sales
as the end all be all, right?
As the driving force of their decision to continue or drop a series.
And I feel like so many people in the comic book space, with how widespread reviews are now, wait for trade. They wait to hear, is this a story worth my time?
Yeah.
Is this does this going to fizzle out after 2 issues and it's not really interesting? Or is it good?
Yeah, and even, like, for me right now, I really want to read Hyde Street. I've heard good things about Hyde Street, that it's like basically like Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, but I don't know if I want to pick up the floppies. I just want to wait, but it's not coming out until, like, September of this year, and I heard about it like early last year.
Yeah.
When the hype for the individual, like the #1 was out. So, I don't know. Just leads to some weird.
Comic books are weird, man.
Comic books are weird. In
weird.
In a number of ways.
What'd Scorpio say?
Scorpio said, agreed. So, I'm so annoying with having to wait for newer issues.
Yes. And that's like with manga, like, it's so interesting when I'm reading a story. I was reading Spy Family last year, and they were releasing them really fast to catch up, and then they caught up with the publication. And so, like, the wait from 12 to 13 was pretty long, and I feel like the wait from 13 to 14 is going to be even longer because we're caught up. But those first volumes, man, just flew.
Yeah.
And I feel like Blue Lock is like that too. We're flying through releases now. But as soon as we get caught up, it's going to be like, oh, instead of 2 months between a volume, oh, now it's like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Oh, Scorpio said something else.
Scorpio said something else.
That I can't read from here.
Love Spy Family.
Yes, we watched the
show.
first 3 episodes with my kids today. Because I have a Spy Family shirt. And my daughter was like, what is this? It looks cute. I want to watch it. And I'd read the manga, so I was like, yeah, there's nothing. Spy Family's good. That's fine.
It's very cute.
If they can handle the, like, little bit of violence with the horror.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think registered for my kids. Yeah. They love Anya. My daughter thinks Bond is a polar bear and does not believe me that he is a dog. So we'll see what happens when he shows up. But I love Spy Family, so it was fun watching it with my kids and seeing how they reacted. I think the anime adaptation is really well done.
So far, it's been really strong.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that the first episode did a lot. Got the exposition.
Yeah.
A lot of that done. We can talk about that after we read, because
reading.
I think I've got like 2 more in me, and I really need to get.
You need to get your sleep schedule back. You're ruined.
Yeah.
So. I could have waited to do that till we were on mute.
Too late now. All right. Let's go back up here. And we're back. And this time I remember to put the timer on for reals this time.
For realsies.
Mm-hmm. You said you feel like you're going to finish?
I think I'll finish next sprint, yeah, about 20 pages from the end, and I seem to be doing about 20 pages a sprint, so...
Yeah. Oh, I will probably get around 300, so I'll be 50 pages from the end of the book. I'll be able to finish tomorrow.
We have finished our excitement.
Okay, wow. Double exciting excitement.
And then I believe we're going to just have our, like, quick wrap-up. And, like, I believe the last chapter is entitled Separation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously... Like I said, I peeked at the back of book 2, so I knew that, like... It starts off with, like, after being apart for a year or whatever, or for several years. I don't remember what the back said. I think it was a couple years.
Yeah.
So I knew they were going to end up going different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So... We've got to resolve the last bit of what just happened, and then I think set up where they're going. Mm-hmm. And then the book will probably end, and then I can buy the next one. And then I can decide if I want to buy another Doomsday series as well. I was looking at Case File Compendium in the store.
Okay.
There's another one I want to read by this same author called Guardian. But I don't want to read the same author back to back. I want to, like, broaden myself a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, Guardian... Because I was looking at the modern ones. Mm. And Case File Compendium and Guardian are both modern ones that have jumped out at me. Yeah. But Guardian is by the same author. So...
Scorpio read 50 pages. So far, so good. I'm going to work on a journal during the next sprint.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to look at my journal, but I'm not going to do it tonight.
I need to do that, but I'm not gonna.
Not tonight. I have stickers for my journal that we got. So this will be for this month's theme, as I'm doing the
little witches
monthly calendar. I'll put those on. So yeah, every month's had a slightly different vibe to it, which I've been enjoying. But yeah, I haven't recorded my daily reading habits for a very long time. And I can...
Oh, in your journal?
Yeah, and I can reconstruct the reading on the calendar fairly easily, like, even if I miss a couple of weeks. But the day-to-day, like, did I read a book? Did I listen to an audiobook? That's going really bad.
Like, you need to, like... note it on a Post-it note or something if you're not going to do your journal. Mm-hmm. You just need to note it on a Post-it note.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed.
I should put something nearby.
You just need to do, or do it on your phone before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Just so that you have it written down.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to go through this.
I guess.
All the time and just be mad that you don't have it.
No, I'm not too torn up about it.
Okay.
So yeah, my book is... So in addition to... I guess in another way that it's similar to Hunger Games is that it is being broadcast, and it is like a lot of the narrative is around kind of the...
Yeah, see, it's interesting because when you said that, like, this was like a rule that they have to give them a chance, I thought it was just for funsies. Like, I thought it was just like, we're going to wipe out most of the population, and then for entertainment purposes, we'll do this with the remaining population.
Yeah. I
didn't realize there were, like, apparently rules that they had to give them a chance to win back something.
Yeah. So, there are segments scattered throughout, so in addition to, like, going through and doing all the dungeon diving stuff and all the lit RPG stuff, there's also a side of it where they're going on these talk shows
like,
with these other characters.
Like in Hunger Games, where they have the... Yeah,
and having to, like, promote themselves. And so...
Do they have sponsors?
They have fans.
Who can send them things?
Yes. So
this is very like Hunger Games.
One of the things they received this time was they earned a fan box. And the fan box had to wait, I think, 24 hours... because the fans got to vote on what went in the box.
Okay.
And so,
but
like...
this is very Hunger Games.
And they bring up the very, like, trolly nature of online voting.
Who is the fans? Like, are they the aliens that did this?
Yeah, it's other alien races. Like,
okay.
We've met several different aliens.
Okay, so it's like an empire of alien races.
Yes, or several different empires.
Okay.
So it's
they're not humans. Very distinctly not humans.
Very distinctly not humans. We've touched on a couple of different races. There's one plot that's going on. This one empire that, due to their actions, is in the middle of like some sort of upheaval.
Okay.
But I'm in the middle. Well, I'm toward the end of a segment where they're on this talk show. So the last time they were on a talk show, it was kind of like a trash TV show, a trash talk show kind of thing, where like the host was an obnoxious, like, teenager essentially, who just had like enough popularity and enough clout to like get his show where he could dunk on people.
Okay.
And this one seems a lot more. The show they're currently on is a lot more of like a roundtable discussion with comedians and politicians. It reminded me much more strongly of like something you'd see on like a Japanese. What are those called? Variety show almost. So it's funny.
So are they like transported out of the dungeon?
Yes.
Okay.
They're teleported out of the dungeon onto the actual surface of Earth.
Okay.
Into boats. That they can't
go
escape
anywhere.
out of.
Right.
Yeah. And then from there, they are
transported back.
They're basically. I can't remember if I don't know if they're physically there and some of the other people are just holograms, or if everyone is projected as a hologram. I can't recall from the first book, but it is not. They're not all physically in that space, so that they can't attack each other or like do anything serious.
Right.
And they kind of went around before the actual show started, and they're like, okay, everyone's basically in like a stasis thing, and they have their descriptions up and like an image of them, but they're all blurred out. And so they're like, okay, that's this person and this person and this person. They're here because of this reason. You're sitting here. This is the host. This is what he's all about. And they went into the
how many Earthlings are left that they said?
They have, so in it, every chapter starts with a tally of their like likes and their favorites, or most of them do, and then occasionally you'll get a thing that just tells you how many people are left. So I think the numbers were going down rapidly at the start, but now that we're at level 3.
They've stabilized a little.
Yeah, it is not as bad. I'm trying to see if I can find a chapter that...
That was one thing I thought was really interesting in Battlestar Galactica, the newer one, how there was a very limited number of humans. And in the intro, it said how many people were left, and they did a pretty good job of keeping that updated throughout the show, as... when a ship was destroyed, that number would go down by a couple hundred. When there was a death in an episode, that number would go down by the number of people who had died. At least. Yeah. So, like, they did, at least to a point. I don't know how well they kept that throughout. But I thought that was really interesting, because if they talked about, oh, there's this disease, and it's wiping people out on these ships, that number would reflect that in the opening. And then, like I said, if there was I know there was at one point where they lost like 3 or 4 ships. And so the number went down quite a bit in the opening. And I just thought it was cool that the writers kept track of that.
Yeah.
Because that was like a big thing for the leadership in the show, was how many humans were left.
Yeah.
Because there weren't a lot. They had a set number of humans who were left from the attack, and that was it. And I thought that was cool that was such a like a burden in the terms of the number of how many people were left that was weighing on the characters, that they included that in the opening and kept it updated. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So the last count we got was 649,433.
Oh, that's more than I thought it would be.
That's still very little.
It's a lot of people.
It's yeah. But like I said, it seems like it's not necessarily stabilizing.
I imagine by like book 8 or 9,
down.
that number's not going to move unless you see a death on page.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be whoever's alive is still alive, like, most of the time.
Down to just the characters and the just the named characters.
Well, or like other characters who will come in later when they kill those off. Yeah. But like that it will be that you won't see big decreases. You'll get to like, I don't know, 60 and it will go down really slowly from there. Yeah. You'll have your elite survivors, I guess.
So I'm hoping to get to chapter 23. I'm on 19.
Okay.
So,
like I said, I have 20 pages left in this.
Yeah.
Because it's a little deceiving because there's a lot of back matter.
Yeah.
But
there's a side story at the end of this one.
I'm liking this one quite a bit. I liked the end. I liked when we finally got to political machinations and like having to deal with the ramifications of things that were going on. Like I said, I just feel like it was a bit unfocused and long-winded. And even in this, we had like a time skip of like a whole year that went by in like a chapter. Mm-hmm. And so it just feels like I don't know that this story starts in the right place.
Yeah.
I understand that the author wanted to get all this stuff established before it came to matter, like a lot in this big gamut they had at the end. Mm-hmm. But unlike like Link Click, where they introduce all these things in very interesting stories, and then it all comes together at the end. Mm-hmm. Unlike that, this was just kind of like a whole bunch of information. And every now and then there'd be a little bit of something that would happen, but it would be over in like 3 pages. And it wasn't really like, we didn't have those like moment to moment driving the plot. We just kind of had this meandering, here's what's going on in lives, and here's all this information you need to know to understand the world. And now we have a plot. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like it could be executed a bit more strongly, but I did really enjoy where we ended up, and I am really interested now that we have all of that out of the way, since we've established all that, since we have done all that work of establishing this stuff, I am very interested in seeing where it goes from here. And how some of these side characters continue to play a role or what their roles develop into.
Yeah. So
it's better than I was worried it was going to be halfway through. I was kind of like, eh. Yeah. But I think, unless the last 20 chapters are really bad, do I give it a 4 even though so much of this was meandering? This one might be a 3, but the series overall might be much more higher rated. Yeah. Which is hard to recommend because it's like, yeah, slog through that first book. Mm-hmm. That first 400-page book. Yeah, just slog through it. Mm-hmm. And then it gets good.
Yeah, my concern here, they are trying to bring in some of the plots that they had started off in book 1. But my concern with this series is more that those things aren't going to pay off for several books in the future.
Yeah.
And each individual book is going to be kind of like I said, it's just like whatever they're doing on that level, it's not necessarily going to culminate in like a big climax or like a relevant like piece of growth for the character or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like, oh, and then they fight this boss to get out of like it's a big scary boss and they fight it and they have to do new tricks or whatever. But then it's just done. Yeah. And especially like being this far into the book, it's like I said, it's always entertaining, it's always fun. But I've got a little over 50 pages at this point, I've got about 100 pages at this point, and I just don't know if it's going to be, like, there doesn't feel like there's anything narratively satisfying coming up.
Yeah, like the story just continues.
Yeah.
Without necessarily, like, resolving itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how this felt like it was going. And then we finally had this, like, plot that we uncovered
mm-hmm.
and have dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
So we at least got, like, a bit of satisfaction in that, like, granted, it was, like, 3 or 4 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But it relied on a lot of knowledge from earlier in the book, so that was all building.
Mm-hmm.
But it did feel like we had this very interesting, very small episode, and I wish more of the book had been able to do that, to
mm-hmm.
introduce the other facets that we needed.
Yeah. Alright, well, I think I can do one more. So
okay,
this is going to be our last sprint.
And I'll finish up.
And then we'll chat for a little bit.
As we do.
Professional
yappers.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is going to be the last one. So, going to go ahead and switch us over and start our time.
Sleep does need to happen eventually.
It does. Alright. Let's go. Alrighty. A break time. This is our last one, so we're just gonna chill and talk about our books and life and what we got coming up on the channels. So I did not get nearly as far. I can feel myself like slipping. Got to 282, so I'm probably gonna go finish up this chapter and then read one more before bed. But still not making a clear idea of where this particular book is going. It might just kind of stop.
Yeah, that's kind of how my book went. We wrapped up the altercation and set up a new altercation. Like, our two main characters are at odds. They had a fight over the younger one's, like, what he wants to do. We didn't really resolve it. Mm-hmm. We had to rush back to our military post that we were technically AWOL from. So we didn't... I don't know where the one guy's going. I don't know what his plans are. He said what his plans are.
Okay.
But that he was basically forbidden from doing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he's going to do. Okay. And then we established a wrinkle. Mm-hmm. And I think... Again, there's so much here. I think part of the drama there was that at the moment... Mm-hmm. This violet gold, this really important substance, can only be found in this country, in Greater Leon. And there was rumor that there's a mine in this neighboring country. So that's got some weight to it. And then we ended... So we had this whole big putting down a rebellion... This whole big complicated thing. And because the one character isn't supposed to be there, they have to, like, lie about what happened. And we end with the Emperor getting two different notes about what happened. One being the story they concocted of, like, what happened. That erases certain people's involvement. And then another one from sources unknown... telling what happened. Okay. And we ended with the Emperor and this advisor we've never seen before discussing it. And I don't quite understand what they think happened. Like, it seems like they think one of the characters, one of the main characters, one of the two main guys, is involved in, like, traitorous activities.
Sure.
I don't understand why.
Okay.
I don't understand how they reached that conclusion.
Paranoia.
But they have what happened written down. And it's like, it seems pretty obvious why he wouldn't want his involvement known. Because he abandoned his post.
Yeah. So we are once again a little jittery.
We are robots.
But we need to finish up today anyway. So just some reminders. This week down here we are going to be doing some streams.
Daytime streams.
Daytime streams. Streams in the daytime, which I desperately need. So Monday is Slay the Princess. Wednesday we'll do another reading sprints, and then again you can watch those later. I am going to finish up this book. I'm also going to post, I've started up a how you read tag, which is all about no, not how you read. I think it's what's coming up tag. It's like all your like TBR and how you determine your TBR kind of deal. Tomorrow late I will post my what did I read this week, which I'm doing every week now. And then gotta film the second part of the Shelfie bet. Don't tell people what happened, but we gotta talk about
who won the bet.
And
what their prize was.
And then I know you've been filming a bunch of stuff for the Great Book Resorting. So we've got to get that edited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Editing is hard.
It's easy but time consuming.
And then I have like parts of like 6 videos filmed, but none of them are done.
Yeah.
6 might be a slight exaggeration, but not by much.
Yeah. So
I think that marks my 4th of my 25 for 25 done.
Okay.
Boys of the Valley. We Were Liars. Stars of Chaos, and I've started the linguistics book. I feel like there was one more. House of Frank.
I feel like I'm halfway through. I feel like I've done 12 or 13 at this point.
I'm not even a 5th. So, I don't know. I really don't think I'm going to finish. Unless I get real
good.
Dedicated real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that's one of the things I'll touch on when we do our mid-year freakout tags.
Yeah, I wanted to do some stats in my mid-year about, like, how many books I've hauled. That kind of thing.
Yeah. We'll talk about all the different challenges I undertook this year and how they're going. But thank you again for joining us and helping us grow this corner of our BookTube community. Hope your reading journey is going well. That's one of the ones I always say. For those watching the VOD, please like, comment, subscribe. Help us grow our community.
Said that?
No, I thank the people for growing our community. Now I'm reaching out to others. I'm doing good. Okay, but I need sleep.
You do need sleep. You're very tired.
So we're gonna go. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you Wednesday and then
Monday?
Oh yeah, Monday, then Wednesday, and then not for a while. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.